the monster opens its mouth to shoot a web, thereby disarming and immobilizing the enemy. The shot of a sticky and extremely dangerous liquid turns out to be ineffective, as Vincent manages to dodge at the very last moment. At that very moment, he is about to rush into the air to take the most suitable position for an attack. He takes good aim and then decides to use the Big Bang skill to deal fire damage to the spider. Before the spider can react, he is hit in the head with a huge blast of magmatic energy, stunning him. However, these injuries also turn out to be not significant enough to break the will of this creature. In response, he releases another web, but this attack also fails. The spider decides not to give up and continues to shoot a huge amount of web towards Vincent, who, using running bed, turns away from it. Vincent realizes that this spider is fireproof, meaning it is not afraid of flame, and he needs to come up with something more suitable. Without thinking twice, he decides to close the distance with his opponent, realizing that in this case he will have to rely on brute force. Vincent says he will kill the spider the classic way and prepares to strike with his blade. The giant spider realizes that he has made a mistake, but it is too late to get out of this situation. Vincent delivers a powerful blow, and the system notifies him that he has dealt critical damage to the enemy's weak point. By scratching the eyes of the giant spider, he makes it let out a loud scream that would be heard throughout the entire dungeon if the spider were not king here. Vincent says that the bites of level 5 demon spiders are poisonous, but larger spiders are not resistant to poisons. He also understands that this is most likely due to changes in their defenses and ability to reproduce, since they no longer have to hunt alone. The giant spider realizes that he must urgently respond to such an attack with something unexpected. Vincent is actually caught off guard by the main attack and webbing, and realizes that he won't be able to dodge it anymore. The spider creates a giant web and spins it around itself to knock down the opponent. Thus, the main character finds himself covered in webs and loses the ability to move at the same speed. Sensing the scent of easy prey, the giant spider moves closer and closer to the main character to deal with him. Vincent relishes the fact that his plan is going exactly as he wanted, and activates a berserker state to quickly get out of the web. Within moments, he breaks all the bonds that restrict his movements, preparing to break forward. Without giving the spider a chance to react, he rushes forward, preparing to deliver a monstrous attack. This blow is so powerful that several eyes fly out of the sockets of this giant creature. Among other things, this attack rips off the giant insect's head, sending it to the next world forever. The system offers him an upgrade to the RK version of the cards, which can either increase the duration of the rage or enhance the display. Vincent carefully analyzes these options, realizing that with one of them he will lose health until he dies. He also notes that choosing more reliable options would be logical, but this spider is an unusual monster. He understands that if he chooses the first boost, he will undoubtedly upgrade himself, but this drain of health is too much weather effects. However, he still decides to go with this option, since the strength of the regenerative ability of this side effect will be less noticeable. Vincent also understands that choosing this buff will allow him to deal damage to those with high resistance to physical damage. Meanwhile, the giant monster crosses several very interesting cards that can be recycled or sold. Carefully choosing each of them, Vincent stops his choice on one of the cards that he finds most attractive. He understands that he has chosen equipment that he can officially take from the abyss, and it will bring him a good income. Immediately after this, he summons his deity to recycle all the remaining monster remains and rewards that dropped from him. Vincent watches as a huge number of hands gradually pull the giant island of this spider into the abyss. He also wonders what kind of reward he will receive for refining such a gigantic, high-ranking creature. The system rewards him with the ability to summon up to 4 newborn spiders that will fight alongside him and evolve according to their combat experience. Vincent finds this reward extremely significant, since now he can not only summon them, but also upgrade them. Meanwhile, the cannon fodder group continues their exploration and discovers a very interesting place. Chester says he didn't think they would stumble upon a mine in the abyss that was particularly valuable. The healer says that he had no idea that there could be so many magical crystals here, suggesting that the red moon is to blame for everything. Immediately after this, the healer decides to use a special skill that marks all objects within a 60-meter radius for allies. Now, every member of this group, including Rodrigo's squad, can see the deposits of valuable materials that are located here. Larry asks the healer if he is mentally retarded, saying that they could take the treasure for themselves. The healer says that this is all a stupid idea, since they would not have survived if Rodrigo's squad had found this place without their instructions. Larry realizes that his life really is worth nothing to those above him, and they really could be killed and written off as an accident. He recalls moments when he betrayed his people, considering them trash that he wouldn't mind throwing away. Incredible arrogance takes over for a while. but it is immediately followed by the incredible horror that he recently experienced. The oppressive feeling of the abyss into which he was almost dragged by the deity that Vincent possesses continues to haunt him day after day. This feeling created such a serious trauma in his psyche that he will not be able to get rid of it for the rest of his miserable life. After recovering from post-traumatic stress, he realizes that the damned bastard who walks around him and collects crystals is to blame for everything. He reflects on the fact that his level is low again, but it doesn't matter because he needs to raise some money. He takes a few crystals and muses that if he can get some good gear, he might be able to join the main force of the scavenging group. So he decides to steal some crystals to keep them for himself and get rich. The system suddenly notifies other players that they are trapped while in that location. A blast of laser energy passes Larry and the warrior, which is incredibly deadly. This shot hits the healer's forehead, who had been standing there unsuspecting the entire time, killing him instantly. The warrior looks in horror at his comrade, who was instantly killed, and wonders what the hell is going on here. Meanwhile, Vincent decides to stay a little longer in the berserker's room, which he cleared with such difficulty. He decides to summon a single tarantula to test how much of a threat it can pose to opponents at this level. The young man comes to the conclusion that at the initial stage, these creatures look absolutely defenseless and rather plush. The system tells him that this creature can grow into a spider from a demon at level 5 if he increases his stats. Vincent realizes that if he wants the creature to be effective, he needs to level it up to at least level 5, and tries to pass it a few points. The cutest creature opens its eyes even wider, then opens its mouth to receive the large number of points it needs. The transfer of points is completed. The system states that the level of this spider has been increased, and a special skill for interacting with the web has been obtained. Meanwhile, the cannon fodder squad continues to try to figure out how to get out of this deadly trap that took the life of one of their comrades. Larry says that all this is an accident, but the warrior understands that he was involved in this. He grabs him and calls him a scumbag, then accuses him of being the one who killed the healer, who did nothing to deserve such a sad fate. He also states that the healer did this for the sake of the family and wanted to feed his children, and now he died because of his idiotic mistake. Larry indignantly declares that he also needs money. If he had not fallen back to the first level, he would already be living well and not dealing with idiots. The warrior prepares to engage Larry in battle, calling him a pathetic traitor, to which Larry states that in this world, only money decides everything. He also says that this warrior would do the same if he was paid enough, when suddenly a dark figure appears behind him. Caesar claps his hands and says that those words are incredibly accurate, adding that he likes his priorities. He then asks Larry if he would like to join his squad, noting that they can find room for one more person. Warrior and Larry look in surprise at Caesar approaching from the darkness, trying to understand why he came here so quickly. One of the participants looks at the dead healer and says that his body is still warm, which means he was clearly killed recently. Rodrigo says that death is a common occurrence here, and is ready to risk even his life for the chance to earn money. Rodrigo says that these crystals, which only appear during the red moon, can be used to buy entire cities, and one piece is enough to stop working for the rest of your days. After this, he says that he forgot to tell you something else very important, saying that there is a price for appropriating one such crystal. Looking at Larry, Rodrigo says that the price for taking one such crystal is exactly one life. Meanwhile, a giant fighter armed with a two-handed sword approaches the Spring Meat Squad to control their movement. They point their guns in their direction to hint that they will now command them. One of the fighters says that they should all take a crystal and put it in a bucket, adding that if they try to escape, an unenviable fate awaits them. The warrior states that any of these crystals could kill them, wondering if they really want to get rid of them in such a secure manner. Rodrigo asks the warrior if he was the one who said that he needed to pay for the treatment of his dear wife. Coming closer to him, he asks him if he really lied when he said that he was ready to do anything just to save her. He also reminds him that the desire to earn as much money as possible is not something shameful or condemned in their society. The warrior understands that he